Ladies and gentlemen, Dan McNamee from Arthur Science.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to us tonight. It's fun to have a rant from time to time. And I intend to do that just right now about lockouts. We all know about lockouts, and everyone's spoken about them a lot. Who needs them? Not me, that's who.
One person who's really excited about the lockout is Dylan, our DJ here, because he's bought a house in King's Cross. It's very quiet now.
Values have gone up there. They've skyrocketed. Well, look, I can understand the need for lockouts. Sydney has a drinking problem. King's Cross is a fucking circus. Or at least it was more of a circus until recently, but now it's kind of dead. But before the lockout laws, it wasn't that surprising that it was a circus because everyone went there and there wasn't enough physical room for everyone. So it was kind of like having a party every weekend at the same house, which fits 100 people, but you invite 300 people, and not everyone can fit, but you still keep throwing the same party, and you're not allowed to bring your own booze to this party. You have to buy it inside at a stupidly inflated price. So everyone is drunker than Bill Murray when they rock up because they don't want to pay so much, so they get loaded beforehand. And over half of them can't get into your party, which is pretty much the only party happening because all the other houses aren't allowed to have parties because the government wants to make sure people don't drink too much.
Yeah.
Therefore, the street is littered with drunk, frustrated people, and therefore they fucking hit each other. So how do we fix that? Perhaps we should relax some laws and let more people have house parties so there's enough room for everyone to party, and perhaps all those rules about drinking should be relaxed a bit so people don't feel the need to get so drunk before they come to the party. Hang on, it's okay. Barry O'Farrell has just asked the police what we should do. Now, the police are great, but when it's boiled down to their essence and the public relations side evaporates and the community presence of what we have, police are essentially good at scaring people and tackling people and finding people. And they are necessary, and I don't want to disrespect them at all, but that's the crux of the social role, an element of fear. So it's stop being trouble or we'll hurt you and take away your money, keep it up, and we'll even put you in a locked box with a bunch of really scary people. Now we have this drinking problem and people are getting king hit by frustrated drunk people. People are dying from this problem and it's really scary because it could happen to anyone, not unlike the terrorist threat that we don't seem to care about much now that the NSA and CIA are spying on everyone and it's all legal. Anyway, since police are always cleaning up the filthy mess of people who are all drinked up with nowhere to go, it seems a natural decision to ask them how to fix the problem, right? Right? Wrong! If you ask the police how to fix a drinking problem, they'll naturally say, give us more police officers and more tasers and a bigger fine-writing book because that's their job. They do it for a living. They clean the shit up. They're there because social policy is failing. We don't ask the city rubbish collectors how to reduce the amount of garbage we're producing as a society. We work it out some other way. So we ask Parliament. Surely they're the right people to ask, how do we fix this horrible problem? And for the love of God, please do something before I get killed. And I guess, and what's Parliament's job? It's making laws. They do it every day for a living. Basically, a law is something which says, you must do something a particular way, otherwise we'll take your money, and if you refuse to give us your money, we'll send people armed with clubs, tasers and guns, actual guns, and they will bring you to a public court and demand that you give us your money, and if you don't give us your money, we'll take away your right to drive your car, and if you still drive your car, we'll lock you in a box with a bunch of scary people. That's what a law is. And some laws are really good. For example, the law that says if you kill someone on purpose, you're definitely getting locked up in the scary box for a long time. And that makes sense, because no one wants to get killed on purpose. But that law's really old, and we're still writing new laws, and with great vigour, so it's no surprise to hear the Parliament's solution to our problem. Dear people of New South Wales, you have asked us for a solution to the drinking problem. We have thought long and hard about it, and we have decided to write some more laws. And what nobody is asking is this: is it possible that we are trying to correct with force and laws a problem that was created by force and laws? Is it possible that alcohol is so jealously guarded from under 18-year-olds that is creating the very drinking culture which we are trying to combat with more police and more rules? As teenagers, we all want to drink, right? Everyone's doing it, it makes us dance better, it dulls the crippling fear of the opposite sex, but we're not allowed to drink anywhere with our friends. We're allowed to drink with our parents, but who wants to do that? Like at high school on Monday, it's like, hey, what'd you do on the weekend, Frank? And it's, oh, I got really drunk with my mum and dad. So, no. So we somehow acquire a goon sack, then we steal some alcohol from our parents' liquor cabinet and make rocket fuel out of brandy and scotch and other things and drink it all, go to a dark park and drink it all until we throw up. We learn to drink very quickly and to get drunk because in a dark park, hidden from society, there's literally nothing else to do. And the fear of getting caught is always present. And that's how we learn to drink alcohol in Australia. Stupid. Now imagine applying our current drinking laws to driving. You can imagine the press release now. When it comes to our roads, driving is dangerous, especially for young people, because they crash literally all the time. We're trying to stop underage kids from driving, but they're still crashing. In fact, young people are taking their parents' cars and driving by themselves and crashing even more. We asked the police to tell us what we should do, and they said to give them more radars and more police, and we did this, and they're still crashing their cars. We, the Parliament, are listening to you, the readers of the Daily Telegraph and Sydney Morning Herald. And to fix the problem of young people crashing their cars, we have decided to put a tax on all cars to make them more expensive so that young people won't be able to afford fast ones. We'll also be making a mandatory jail term of 4 years for young people who crash their cars and hurt someone else. Stupid. Though perhaps a bit of a straw man, but you get my point. I've got 2 more things to say, and I've got to be quick. But my mate Jim, who plays in the band actually, he's a pilot, and he speaks about a phenomenon called pilot-induced turbulence. And that's basically when the plane goes through a patch of like bumpy air, and the pilot grabs the stick and goes, "Oh fuck!" and he's like wrestling with the plane and trying to get it. He's like going this way and that way and that, and he's going. "Ugh." But meanwhile, the bumpy air is about 1 kilometre behind him, and he's wrestling the plane around still like that in the clean air. Our New South Wales government is thrashing the stick around trying to get the plane in control, and it seems the only surefire way they know how to stop nightlife violence is to stop the nightlife, like in Newcastle. Of course, lockouts worked in Newcastle. They fucking stopped people going out. That's why the violence has gone down. On a positive note, at the risk of sounding like a hipster travel wanker, I was in Berlin for a couple of months, a couple of years ago. In Germany, at age 14, you can drink with your parents. At age 16, you can buy beer and wine on your own. And age 18, you have your full drinking license. They have no lockout laws. You can buy beer almost anywhere, at almost any time. You can buy beer in a club and take it with you out onto the street and drink it on your way to the next club as you ride your bike without a helmet. In fact, on the weekends, many clubs just don't shut. When it comes to partying, it seems the only rules are A, don't kill yourself, B, don't be a dickhead. And in the month I was there, I probably went out every night for 3 weeks, like literally every night, and I saw one scuffle between some English tourists. We have a list of rules pertaining to drinking alcohol, which is longer than the Magna Carta, yet we have a fucking circus in Sydney every weekend of idiots who drink quickly and to get drunk. Our hospital wards are self-described war zones, perhaps hyperbolic, and perhaps I'm confounding causation and correlation, but we should compare the amount of laws we have in Sydney with the amount they have in Berlin and compare the nightlife and explain the difference. Thank you.
Dan McNamee.